Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Thought I'd jump on today, maybe with something a little bit different to what we normally do. And today is discussing these guys, the Julidochromis Dickfeldi, and I thought we'd do a bit of a sort of a species profile, a bit of a care guide, anything you might need to know if you're interested in these fish and wanting to, maybe you want to have a go looking after them and get some for your tank. So, I mean, there's a few things to know about these guys, and the first thing we'll start off is the tank size and setup that you need to look after them. In terms of a minimum tank size, I think you'd be sweet as with a 70 litre, 2 foot, 20 gallon type tank. That'll be perfectly fine for, say, a pair of them. But ideally, probably a 3 foot tank, 150 litre, 40 gallon tank will be your best bet. They're a bit more peaceful than some of the other Julies, and a bit smaller, so you can get away with a bit smaller of a tank, but you won't want to go too small. In terms of the tank setup, they are what's known as a cave dweller, or crevice dweller, or a rock dweller. So as you can see here at this tank, got a lot of like this slate all piled up with a bunch of crevices and cracks and stuff for them to. They love. Obviously, they're not doing it right now because there's someone sitting right in front of them, but normally they're weaving their way through and picking stuff out the cracks of the rocks and all that sort of thing, which is really good. The only thing is, as African cichlids, they will want the pH quite high. The pH of this tank is probably like 8.5, so you probably don't need it that high, but you will want it above, say, 7.8 and above. You can't really go too high, obviously within reason, but you're probably not going to go too high. You just want to keep it up there. So the way I do that and achieve that goal in this tank is using this sand here is a aragonite sand. You can use whatever, like crushed limestone, coral rock, all that sort of thing to buffer up the pH and keep the GH and the KH up. But I just find using this is the easiest way. And then what I do is when it's water change time, just do my water changes as normal and just add the water straight back in, and the pH will be brought up as it goes. So yeah, I mean, it's nothing too crazy, nothing too complicated. Pretty straightforward. So in terms of your sort of temperament of them, they are, so Julies in general are a little bit aggressive, but in terms of African cichlids, they're very, very peaceful. Like they're pretty calm. They'll defend their area, but won't sort of go out of their way to cause trouble. But yeah, I mean, it depends what sort of background you're coming from. So like if you're used to keeping like Malawi cichlids or Tropheus or something, they'll be really calm. If you're used to keeping tetras and stuff, probably a little bit more aggressive, but they're nothing crazy, nothing unmanageable or that. Generally just give them a little cave and they'll be sweet. It does mean that with your tank mates you have to be a little bit more sort of selective. I wouldn't be just chucking stuff in willy-nilly. I'd probably think about it a little more. In terms of good tank mates, you want things like your shell dwellers are a perfect option. So we've got some Neolamprologus brevis in here, just hanging out in the back there. So your Neolamprologus brevis, the Ultralamprologus, like your Calvis or your Compressoceps, might be a good option. Tank-eating catfish like the Synodontis petricola, Synodontis lupinus, both would make great choices. You can, some people do keep them with frontoses. You can do if you've got the right setup. If you've got enough caves and stuff, the fish will have plenty of room to hide without getting eaten. It is a little bit more tricky, but yeah. Also, you can keep them with the Tropheus. Generally, they're fine temperament-wise. And then just for feeding, what people do obviously the Tropheus have a different diet than different dietary requirements than the Julies. So what you can do is just feed your Tropheus as you normally would, and then just feed your Julidochromis live baby brine shrimp, and that kind of covers the two diets easily, because the baby brine shrimp will be too little, obviously for adult Tropheus, but the baby brine shrimp will be too little for the Tropheus to see, but it's perfect for the Julidochromis, so it's like a win-win situation. So yeah, I mean that's about it. But any sort of the dwarf tangyikins in general make for your best sort of option. Another popular one's Neolamprologus bruchati. They're a really cool fish and make a really good combination with them in terms of behaviours and everything. But just in general, as long as there's enough space and enough, everyone's needs is being met, you can keep them with even stuff like platies, guppies, stuff that likes the harder water. They'll generally be fine. Obviously, the Julies net occupying the caves, and your live bears being more open water upper levels, they'll be fine. In terms of plants, they don't really bother plants. Like, they might dig the odd one up occasionally or knock the odd Anubias off the rock before it sets. But yeah, I mean, you can pretty much anything. So with plants, you'll have more problems with the high pH than you will with the actual fish themselves. So things like, as you can see here, crypts, Anubias, different Java ferns, Java mosses. Can do like things like Invulia often is fine. Vallisneria is a good one. Any of those hardier, more hard water type plants will kind of just do their thing and be happy as without much interference from the actual fish themselves. So yeah, those would be some good options in that space. In terms of the diet, we kind of touched on it before, but they like a good bit of protein. So as a staple, I do like a good quality flake. I don't actually feed these guys flakes really. These guys get rapashi grub pie, just like a little bit of grub pie. They get live baby brine shrimp, frozen daphnia, frozen bloodworms, any sort of little insect or crustacean or anything like that will be perfectly fine for them. But yeah, for general purposes, good quality flake food like the Nuli Spectrum flake or anything like that will be perfectly fine and be able to keep them perfectly happy. So in terms of the breeding for these guys, so they do form a pair bond. So what I do is this is more of a do as I say, not as I do, because in this tank I just had them as a display and then babies just started coming out. Like, they'd be spawning down the back down there somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but fry just magically appear. But if you're wanting to spawn them, I'd just keep a pair in a 2-foot tank with a cave. Like, a lot of people use like an upturned flower pot. You'll have to make the hole bigger in the pot, but yeah, an upturned flower pot or something like that, and just feed them, condition them with some good quality food. Like, you can use the Rapashi Spawn and Grow or live baby brine shrimp, live daphnia, stuff like that, and yeah, I mean, eventually you'll have some babies, and they do take good care of their babies. They're not going to kill them or anything, eat them or anything straight away. Like, usually they are fine. Obviously, with any cichlid, it takes a little bit of time for them to figure it out, but once they do figure it out, they'll be sweet as. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. They're really, in my opinion, they're probably one of the best beginner tangyukin fish. Them and the shell dwellers make a perfect combo. Super fun, super interesting. The Dickfeldi's got the best colour, I think, in my opinion. Them, maybe the Ornatus, depends on your flavour, your preferred flavour, but I think these guys are really beautiful. They get along perfectly with the shell dwellers. Chuck some Synodontis in there, and you can have a really nice, fun tangyukin tank in a not a relatively small tank. Like, don't need anything stupid big like you would with your frontoses or that. So, I mean, I think they do have a soft spot in my heart because they were the first, them and the Brevis and the Aussies I bought all at the same time as my first tangyukins. I didn't mix the Brevis and Aussies, so that was different tanks, but bought them all same day, so they do have a special place in my heart. But yeah, honestly, I can't recommend them enough. If they're at all on your radar, I cannot urge you enough. Take the plunge. It's so worth it. So much fun. Such awesome fish. If you do sort of more questions or anything about how to care for them or things that you might want to learn about them, or if you want to find them, I have some. I can always get them in. One of the other idiots, Ryan Jury, always has some available that I can get in for you, or obviously I've got my colony here. But yeah, I cannot urge you enough. Definitely take the plunge. It's well worth it. All the cool kids keep cichlids, so nothing like a bit of peer pressure. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. That's all I had today. Just a little fun, something a little bit different. I'm trying to play around with some different things, see if people like them. So if you've at all enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and comment down below, all that good stuff. If you have any other fish you want to see a bit of a species profile on, please let me know. But otherwise, that's it from me. Thank you all very much for watching. Love you all, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.